Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing okay out there. I know with everything going on in the world today, it can be really intense and really scary. And I'm just recognizing that there's some things that I've been doing to kind of stay calm, stay centered, stay focused in this time. That if they could help you out in some kind of way, that would be, I'd be happy to share that. And I've been getting a lot of requests, a lot of emails from people and questions about how do I preserve food, how do I store food, how do I ferment. So I'm just going to kind of show you some of the things that I'm working on to give you some ideas and show you a couple good ways to preserve food and kind of store food properly and things like that. So first off, if you are kind of freaking out right now, I completely understand. There's some people are quarantined, some people are just social distancing right now. It depends, of course, on where you are in the world. And some places are progressing more. But the important thing is not just to give in to fear, but be smart and be educated. And take this as a time, if you are stuck at home, to kind of go inward. Don't just try to distract yourself with, just binge watching TV and checking out with substances and stuff like that. Like, cook and connect to the people that you love. Find creative ways to use the internet to connect to people, but also just like be with yourself. Kind of maybe explore some of those things that you've been avoiding out of just staying distracted all the time, because all our plans are canceled, so all we have is ourselves to kind of look at and dive into. And the book that I just put out, which you can click the link below to check out, it's all about that, just getting to know yourself better, how to think for yourself, how to like look into fear and overcome it, not let it rule you. And also, just a quick note, if you do buy the book, I'm going to give free access to every cooking video I've ever done, which most of them are not on the internet. So the book for Kindle, it's like $3. You buy that, you get access to all my videos, which hopefully will also help you cook a bit in this time. So let's talk a bit about some of the stuff that I'm working on. Fermentation. Fermentation is amazing. It seems kind of scary and intimidating, but there's some really simple things that you can do. I made this sauerkraut. It took me 5 or 6 days. So of course there's a little bit of patience involved. But what's cool about that is you get to learn something new, try something new, and also get a ton of probiotics, which are good to stay healthy. Basically, again, there's more internet videos and stuff out there, but it's literally just taking salt and cabbage and mixing them together for a long time and letting them sit in a vessel, just barely covered, as it ferments. And then I have all this. I have a couple things of this, and I've been giving it out to people. So this is a great ferment. This is something I'm working on right now. So you can see this, check it out. So this is actually yogurt, it's soy yogurt, and all I had to do is I bought some soy milk. You can make it as well. Soy milk with basically just soy and water, so no other fillers and stuff. And then I put it in my Instant Pot. It was over here before. It's gone. I put it in my Instant Pot, and I added about a cup of like almond yogurt, or just like one little thing of almond yogurt, maybe half a cup of almond yogurt, and I just let it sit at 108 degrees for like 10 hours, and then it got super thick, and then I actually strained it, so I have all this whey, the yogurt whey, and now it's super thick and it's like Greek yogurt style. My hands are clean, don't worry. Wow, it's like tangy and salty and delicious, and I put that in here. It's a great little thing. You can make any kind of yogurt. Yogurt's really easy to make. It's just a great way to have something fresh and delicious. This is one of my favorite things to do. I bought a ton of chilies. So if you have chilies lying around, I use Thai chilies. It's a very popular Thai condiment. Literally just cut up chilies and throw them in white distilled vinegar and let them sit. And this, especially like if you like sriracha or something like that, like a fermented hot sauce, this has become my replacement. Yes, it's different, but the taste is similar because it's vinegary, it's spicy, it's got that nice fermentation going on, and this stuff is freaking gold right here. I also pickled some daikon and carrot with a little jalapeno, which is big in Vietnamese culture. And what I actually did was I made a pickling solution. This one has some brown sugar in it, that's why it's a little bit darker. But basically just salt, sugar, water. And you just get a flavor that you like. And I like to make it strong. I usually do more of the vinegar solution with the salt and the sugar. And then I add water as needed to kind of thin it out. So this is just a great thing. You basically just boil vinegar, salt, sugar together. Mostly vinegar, just a little bit of the other two for sweetness. And then you add water in to kind of cool it down and get like a good consistency that you like. And then I have this around, so whenever I want to pickle something, boom, bada boom. This is a blue vegetable stock, thank you to the purple cabbage, but I have a bunch of these. You could of course freeze them. And a great way to freeze stock is to actually put it in ice cube trays, make a big stock, put it in ice cube trays, and then freeze it, and then you have it for a long time. This is actually the whey from the runoff of the yogurt. And what's cool about whey, even if you have yogurt, so here's a cool tip. If you have regular yogurt, instead of buying Greek yogurt, buy regular yogurt, which is cheaper, and then just strain it, and you end up with getting the whey, which you can use, and then it's Greek yogurt. So all Greek yogurt is literally just strained regular yogurt. That's it. There's no special thing to it, you know, especially in markets. But what's cool about the whey is once you take this, you can actually ferment vegetables in this. I haven't tried it yet, but somebody just told me that they love it. Ghee, this stuff, liquid gold. That's wow, that's, I mean, just that enough is worth being alive. For people that are lactose intolerant, this is not for vegans, but for people that are lactose intolerant, but want to have butter, ghee is, it's also called clarified butter. It's used in India like all the time. Basically, you just take butter. So again, you could spend a lot of money buying it, or you just buy regular butter, unsalted butter, and you just put it in a pan, and you just cook it, and then you skim off. Basically, the solids and the liquids like separate, so you just take off those milk solids, and as it cools down, you kind of skim them off, and then you strain it out, and you end up with this, and that's ghee. And you can toast it, like toast, basically putting it in the pan and just like keeping it boiling for a while. You want to watch it, you don't want it to burn, but it will just develop these really deep, rich, nutty flavors. And I use this cooking a lot. And so what I was saying is, if you're lactose intolerant, for most people that have problems with dairy, they don't have problems with ghee because it takes out I think the lactose part. Again, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to use the sciencey words, but that's basically what happens. This is everything. This is everything. This is my funky sourdough starter. So basically just flour and water, and you mix them equal parts, and you let them sit out, and every day you dump out most of it, at least half, and you add in more flour and water, and in about a week, you know, all the natural yeast in the air collects. So that's the crazy thing about life, is that like there's just natural bacteria, yeast and stuff just floating around in the ethers of everything. And it captures, basically it eats the flour, and it farts out the bubbles, you know, and then you have this natural rising agent, which you can then use to make sourdough bread because it gets really sour, and it's just cool. So it's like utilizing what is around you. When you have the sourdough starter and you have flour, which you can keep in your pantry, things last a long time. Bada bing, bada boom. Here's a great tip you may have seen before, but scallions, I'm probably gonna get a smaller thing, but put them into a little bit of water, and they will just continue to grow. So if you buy just a pack of scallions, they'll keep growing up, and you'll have scallions for a very, very, very long time. I have a vacuum sealer, and I've been using it a lot. They're great. So if you have a vacuum sealer, you can of course vacuum seal things. And the cool thing about vacuum sealing is naturally things will last considerably longer. Anywhere from like 3 to like 10 times as long, depending on the thing. Like carrots can last like years in vacuum seal, as I've been told. But you vacuum seal, and what's cool is if you freeze this, you have much less of a risk of freezer burn, because you're taking out all the oxygen, and you just have what's in here. So I'm actually not freezing these things right now unless I really need to, but I have a whole area in my fridge filled with vacuum sealed veggies and fruits, and then when I want them fresh, I just cut them up. So if I can't go to the market for a month or something, I'm gonna have vegetables for a long time. Now, I know what you're thinking, I don't have a vacuum sealer, what the hell, man, why are you telling me this? Not cool. I'm gonna show you a little bit of a trick to kind of get you around that. Move this stuff, and move this stuff, okay? Move this miserable place. Okay, so take some broccoli, and you could blanch this first or whatever. I love blanched broccoli. Now first off, if you waste these, you're making a huge mistake, let's just say, because broccoli stems are secretly, I think, the best part. I don't want to say the best part of broccoli, but they're equally delicious. Basically, you could just peel the outside and either cut it up, eat it raw, you can saute it, you can roast it. Oh, it's so crunchy and delicious, but broccoli might be my favorite vegetable. Well, if I had to pick, which I can't, if I had to, broccoli. So take these florets, put them in a Ziploc bag. This is just a really simple trick that surprisingly not a lot of people utilize enough. And it's not as effective as a vacuum sealer, but it still works well. Okay, squeeze out some of the air. Close this mostly. Take a pot of water, like schmo, and then you submerge. This is what people do a lot with sous vide. So maybe we'll keep it open. So you submerge this, and as the water pushes down, you can see in there, it naturally creates a seal, pushes out all the air. Kind of do it slowly, and careful not to get any water in there. And then you end up with a really nicely sealed package. And you could do a better job. I'm just showing you for the example, but basically pushing this down, getting all the air out as much as you can, and then just sealing it off. And that's just a great way to keep things more fresh. It's a super simple thing when you want to keep your vegetables fresh, especially if you're worried about that. But again, don't feel like you need to just go and buy all kinds of canned and frozen stuff. Listen, there's nothing wrong with pantry items. I have a ton of stuff in my pantry. I have different types of rices and noodles and pastas and things like that and flours. But I really did not buy much frozen stuff because I'd rather buy it fresh and do it myself. I mean, first off, you have all this time at home anyway. Why not utilize it, right? Whoa, that was great. The wind is a thing. Okay, another little thing I like to do, celery. If you keep celery in water, it stays fresh a lot longer. If it feels like it's starting to get a little wilted, put it in the water and it will probably just perk back up. This is the thing for a lot of different greens. You can put them in water like spinach and different things like that, and oftentimes they'll just like perk back up. Let me show you another thing. And I'm walking away from the camera, but storing fresh herbs. You might not be thinking about fresh herbs, but they're probably on sale right now because no one's buying them. Fresh herbs. Take them out, take off the rubber bands, clean out anything that doesn't look super hot, wrap it in a paper towel. Even do better this one. Ah, we're losing stuff. Sorry, man down. Okay, put it in a paper towel, wrap it in a Ziploc bag, or you can put it in the fridge with a Ziploc bag, and that will stay and get out as much air as possible. Of course, you could use that technique I just showed you, and then this will stay considerably. Sometimes I'll forget about cilantro. So one thing you gotta be careful about is if it's in here, just make sure you know where it is. I forgot about cilantro for like a month before, and it's like still looks fresh. And that goes for a lot of lettuce and things like that. I have arugula, and arugula is great, and so is kale. If you're gonna get things, kale and arugula last a long time, I find. So what I like to do though is when I have like a lettuce package, I just put in some paper towels, because what's happening is the moisture is the thing that's wilting the leaf. So if you put in a paper towel, it will just help to suck up that moisture and keep it there and keep it contained. Another thing, doing some meal prepping is cool. I have these little meal prep things. We actually made tikka masala last night and some lentils and some spiced lentils, a little dal. So just having these as little like meal preppers is kind of a cool thing, you know, if you want to just have like a little meal set up. I don't do that much like specific meal prepping. I'll tell you, the way I typically tend to cook is it's very simple. I take all the things that I have, like cabbage and cucumbers and the different veggies, and I either cut them up raw, like cucumbers, I'll just slice up a bunch of cucumbers raw and put them in a bag or put them in some Tupperware. I have like my celery here, all prepped. And I might cook some vegetables, maybe cook some chicken, make some sauces. And I like to treat life like it's like a smorgasbord. Someone told me, he's like, I've never seen anyone eat like you. It's like you're just always eating tapas. And essentially, like, I'll open the fridge, I'll take out a bunch of things. I'll take out my sauerkraut, you know, maybe I have some steamed broccoli or something that I roasted, some cucumbers. You know, I have my pickled things and whatever the thing are. And then I just build these really simple but really delicious dishes, because I open everything and I'm like, okay, I got a little sauerkraut there, I got some of my broccoli, I got my chicken, I got my rice, and boom. So what I say is take some time to like really prep things out, make your sauces, do what you need, and then eating becomes actually really quick and simple. Now, considering you have a lot more time probably around the house, dive in, and maybe it's a perfect time to learn fermentation. I've been like diving in so much deeper into fermentation and packaging things and storing things, simply because I have the time and I've always wanted to do it. Sometimes we're forced to do things in life in a weird way. I don't mean like a negative force, but we're kind of forced into stuff because of the situation that we're in. It's actually a time to grow. It's an opportunity to try new things or to do those things that we always wanted to. Another thing that I've always wanted to get into, but really haven't had the time or the ability to, is sprouting stuff. So there's different ways to sprout seeds, but this is actually really cool. So let's say you have like dried beans and chickpeas and stuff, and you want to get something fresh. Let's say it's in a couple weeks and you haven't really been able to go out to the market or something, where you can sprout different beans and seeds and stuff. So I have lentils and chickpeas here, which I soaked them for like 6 hours or so. And then there's different methods. Some people, you can go online to get more specifics. Again, I'm not trying to give you all the details because this video would be forever. But just if you see me doing this, you're like, that's interesting, go watch some videos online. There's this place called YouTube. It's supposed to be pretty cool. I've heard about it before. I don't know. But yeah, basically soak these And one of the methods people use is a mason jar where they wash them every day and they let the stuff sit. What I found is if you use a colander, and I actually haven't tried this method yet, but I saw that it works really well. Use a colander, spread everything kind of flat, and then take a damp paper towel and just put it on, cover it, and then you put it just, for something like this, you just need to make sure there's some airflow, and that will actually sprout the seeds, and I'll have sprouts. And sprouts are super nutritious, and they're great in salads and different things. Is there anything that I did not show you yet? No. Okay, so those are the main things. There's so many different ways to preserve food. Of course, canning is great if you have the time to can stuff. Although I would say, depending on what you're making, like for example, I made pickles recently and I didn't feel like I needed to preserve them. I'm just keeping them in my fridge because they'll last for a long time in my fridge. So while if you get a ton of produce and you want to spend a day canning, awesome, more power to you. But also like you can do things that are still preserving without having to actually go through the whole canning process. And if you don't know much about the canning process, basically, you're going to be canning in these types of jars. And every jar comes with this lid and this piece. And basically this part here, what happens is you're creating a pressure seal, and to the point where, so you hear that? So when you can something, there's no more of that sound. So it basically just locks this in place. This is just there to help keep it together. But once it's sealed, that's locked in place, and then you can keep say you can make canned tomatoes, you can keep them out for months and months and months at a time. However, if you don't have the time or the interest in doing that, you can also just use these jars and just keep stuff in the fridge. So if you pickle something and you don't pressure seal it, just keep it in the fridge, not a big deal. But if you want to learn more about canning, there's tons of videos. Actually on Pro Home Cooks, my brother, he's a YouTuber. It's pretty cool. He's like a pretty famous YouTuber. You should check him out, Pro Home Cooks. He does a lot of fermentation projects. I have a friend, Jeremy, I'll put the links below. He also does a lot of fermentation. There's a lot of people out there fermenting, and fermentation is really good because you're getting a lot of probiotics and just like you're eating living things, so it's going to be better for you. And this time, like, it's really important to, again, stay safe, stay smart. The social distancing thing right now is a big thing, and I'm taking it as an opportunity to expand and to grow and to go inward. I had a health thing come up a few months ago, and I kind of had to do like 10 days of sort of self-quarantining. I just decided to do it, and it was challenging, but it was also extremely rewarding. It was one of those things when I look back, I was like, I would have never asked for what happened, because basically I woke up with a rash, and then within 3 days my whole body was covered in these like terrible burn-looking rashes, and it was really painful, and it sucked. And I just decided to kind of stay in and stay away from people, and just meditate and take baths and self-care and eat well and fast and different things. And I would have never wanted to go through that. I've never tried to ask for something like that to happen, but when I look back, I learned so much, and I was so grateful for the opportunity. So I'm seeing this in the same way. Like, of course, nobody wants to be quarantined, and no one wants to be in the situation. People are dying, and there's a lot of fear, and businesses are closing, and horrible things are happening. But there is a point to everything, and even if we can't see it, we can't understand it, our mind can't really process why these things happen, there's so many greater forces at work leading us in specific directions, and the best thing that we can do is stay centered and stay grounded and not give in to the stress. See it. If fear is on your mind, okay, get curious about the fear. Think about why the fear is there. Go into the fear and think about it, what it really means for you, and how can you find ways to stay centered, to stay calm, to breathe, to relax into it. Because the more we can stay relaxed, the more we can actually be of service and value to ourselves and to other people. It's also a big piece of my book, Conversations with Your Best Friend. It's really about that, getting to look at those fears and to figure out who we are in the face of fear, and not just be overtaken by it in every situation in life. So if you want to check that out, again, you get free access to every cooking video I've ever done. So click the link below, and there's Kindle version, there's paperback, there's also PDF for anyone around the world that wants to read the book. I'm going to be doing more videos. I'm curious to what you want to learn. I'm not trying to make videos for the sake of like figuring out something that I wouldn't normally have just to show you, to impress you. That doesn't interest me. I'm just like, what am I actually doing in life, and how can I actually show you? Because these are real times. I don't want to fabricate some video. I want to say, this is actually interesting to me, and I'm just going to show you it. Because if I can give you some inspiration or some ideas, well, then that would be awesome. So please take care of yourself. Know it's going to be okay. If you need any additional support, remember there's community and there's people around that want to help. And it's in the face of these situations that we actually get to see who we are and what we're made of, and the people around us, how people show up and how we show up. And food is obviously just a big piece of taking care of ourselves. The better we eat, so if we just go out and buy a ton of ramen and just live off that, we're not going to feel very good. But if we start actually looking into some of these deeper processes, our life just grows in really incredible, amazing ways. So find ways to stay connected. I'm going to be doing more live streams and videos on food and music on my You Enjoy Life Instagram as well, and on here. And it's going to be okay. Everything's good. Love you guys. Peace.